Welcome to Destroyer or Destroy Her, a Savage podcast. You be the judge, because that's all we do. I'm Freckles.
And I'm Dimple, and today's episode is about men in Texas. So after moving to Houston, we've had some very interesting experiences with the men here.
It all started when I was trying to buy a TV at Best Buy. While I found the TV I was looking for, I was going to check out, and the guy was like, if you bring your car around, then I'll just, pack it in there for you. And I said, oh, okay, that's really nice. So I had my friend Dimple drive the car around, and it was just me and the employee in the store. And while he was rolling the TV to the car, he said, hey, you're kind of gorgeous. And I nervously giggled, and I was like, And then he said, oh, why you laugh like that? Like, why you laugh like you're nervous? And I said, sir, I'm just trying to buy a TV so I can play games with my boyfriend.
Man, we zoomed out of that parking lot so fast and went to In-N-Out to bring burgers back home for the family. Man, after we got our order, we're getting in the car, and then this guy, like a collared uniform, not working at In-N-Out, but like has a name tag on it and everything, comes out after I get in the driver's seat, and I'm like, oh, did I leave something? And then he flags his hand down, like saying like, wait, that type of like movement. And then when I actually rolled the window down and like ignited the car and everything, he's like, do you have a boyfriend? And I just paused and said, bro, I just want to eat my burger, so I said yes, and I left.
The men in Texas kind of set themselves up. And we moved here for our job, so we were like, well, maybe men in the industry aren't going to be that bad, right?
Little did we know. One morning on the way to work, we encountered this panhandler, and we were in the car at a red-green light, and then he was scrubbing people's windows.
Yes.
But like, he would forcefully do it, knock on other people's windows for like tips. And then when he came over, I like made the big X sign with my hands, with like my arms. And I was like, oh, no. And then, bro, he proceeds to like wipe the windows. But like, I don't carry cash on me like that. So I was like, I really don't have anything to like tip him. Then after that, it was like a green light. He just like stood in front of the car and like didn't let me go. And I was like, sir, I don't have anything. I didn't let my window down because it was a very sketchy area. As we were leaving, he just knocked on the window really hard, and we just both got really scared.
So when we finally got to our workplace, we got introduced to everybody. The two people that I'm going to talk about, I'm going to call them Big CC and Lil CC, because they have the same name and they're like brothers, but not really brothers. But Big CC is married, and Lil CC likes my friend Dimples, but we didn't find that out until much later. But whenever Big CC comes to talk with us, he always has these like really creepy puppy dog eyes. Like, it looks like his eyes are like watering a little bit, like he's...
And like, he's 6'5", and our desks are like 3 feet. So like, in order to talk to us, he wouldn't like sit normally on a chair. Man would kneel on the floor.
Like, he just had his knees out there.
And then with the puppy dog face, I was...
And besides the fact that he was married and had kids, he was always like way too uncomfortably close to us. He would like pretend to like draw stuff in Sharpie, like on my shoes. And then one time I had jeans with the holes in it. He would just like look at my knees. Like, it's just really weird.
The knees?
Bro, yeah, I guess he has a knee thing.
I also had a really weird interaction with Big CC. Like, we were at the office one time, just the two of us, because everyone left. And I was asking if there was a CCTV back in the day, and he said yes. And back in the day, there were a lot of strippers around the area. And then him and the coworkers would just watch them have sex. And like, while I was saying this, he looked at me with like that type of like hinty face.
Yeah.
Like, he was like hinting something, and I was like, I'm going home now.
Ew. And then Lil CC was crushing on my girl Dimples.
I didn't know about it at all.
Bro, yes. This guy named Mamacita Jojo was crushing on me. Every time he would come into the office, he would sing obnoxiously, like trying to get me to look at him. I never did.
Good for you.
And then there was another guy with a hoodie. I'm gonna just call him Hoodie Boy because he's kind of, irrelevant. But one day, Lil Cece comes up to me when Dimples is out of town, and he's like, "Oh, hey, where's Dimples?" And I was like, she's going to see her sugar daddy in Abu Dhabi. And he was like, "Oh, sugar daddy." And I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Oh, okay, well, Hoodie Boy likes her." And I was like, "Oh, okay, well, I'll let Dimples know." But, she's seeing her sugar daddy right now, so she doesn't have time. And then Lil Cece texts me later that night. Don't ask me why I have his number. But he was like, "Yes, I actually want to confess that it is I that likes Dimples, not Hoodie Boy. Could you please tell her?" And I was like, "Well, I already told her, but I also already told you. She has a sugar daddy and a boyfriend. She's not interested in you."
For clarification, I don't have a sugar daddy or a boyfriend. It was just an excuse to get over with. But guys, let me tell you a story about Mama Boy Jay. So when we first met Mama Boy Jay, it was like in a meeting, but we thought he was just going to come by himself, but man came with his mom. Which, she was also in the business. She was like the more higher up, but she is more like retired, so she just kind of like came along. Mm-hmm. But we all thought that was kind of funny. And then during the meeting, my boss was saying that like, "Oh yeah, she just graduated." And then Mama Boy Jay is like, "Oh, from high school?" And I was like, "No, from college." And it turns out me and Mama Jay went to college in very close proximities, but like, different generations.
To be fair, Mama Boy Jay does look like he's still in his frat boy era.
The thing is that my boss and his boss were trying to set me up. But I feel like me and him, we were at least like 10 year gap. Yeah. So I was like, "Oh, this is interesting." But last minute, knowing myself, I flaked. So it never happened.
Good.
One last thing about something at work. So I had a client, he's like 50 plus age and very sweet guy. But one time he asked me for like a product info and then I had to get it from like a third party. Afterwards, I gave it to him. He was like, "Thanks, love ya."
Whoa.
Like, I've never had a customer say "I love you" like that.
Whoa. Anything for the dollar bills. So this is kind of work related, but not really, more personal. So me and Dimple were both at this event and this guy comes up to me and is like, "Oh my God, you are such a baddie." And like did like some like hand motions and stuff. And I was like, "Oh my God, thank you." And let me tell you what he looked like. He had the frosted tips and he had the shirt with the chest out, the bagoo bag, flips, really like fashionable. And like I really wanted to be friends with him. And I came to his booth and I bought some stuff. He was like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna give you guys a discount, tell no bitches." And I was like, "Oh my God, so okay, cool." And then I added him on Instagram and he followed me back. And I DM'd him later that day and I was like, "Hey, it was so nice to meet you. I really want to get dinner with you someday." And when I texted him that, he was like, "I just want to be really forward. Are you interested in me?" And I was so shook, like my mouth fell open because I was like, this man makes cutesy art and he's straight. I couldn't even believe it.
My gay yard was also wrong because I thought he was full, but no.
But this also goes into someone else that I know in Texas. That's one of my friends, actually, that I went to high school with. And during my birthday, and this even goes like beyond my birthday, like whenever I like post something, he'll always like swipe up and be like, "Oh, cutie, hottie, whatever," knowing that I have a boyfriend, full well that I have a boyfriend. And I'm just like, "Thanks." But on my birthday, he swiped up and he said, "Bet you won't send me your Cash App." Obviously, I'm gonna send you my Cash App, bro. I want money. And when I did, he sent me $100.
Dang.
And I was like, "Oh, okay, okay, thank you, sugar daddy. And he said, oh, that's like the highest compliment ever. And I was like, oh, okay, that's a little weird. I was like, oh, okay, well, thank you again. Then he responded to me the next day and is like, hey, I feel like it's really hard for me to gain your attention lately, and I feel like you're using me for emotional objectification.
What the fuck?
And I was like, nah, bro, you're the one that always swipes up on my stuff. I never, I don't even know how he even thought that.
That's all we have for this time. Thanks for tuning into the Visual Podcast. Let us know in the comments if you have had any funny experiences with men in Texas. Make sure to subscribe and hit the bell for our next instruction. You can also find us on Spotify Podcast.